Hi and welcome student to this new video. In this video I am going to cover the two hook of React. One is forwardRef and another is the useImperativeHandle hook. So let me show you what these are. If I talk about the forwardRef, so forwardRef is a function that allows a parent component to pass a reference to the child component. So in last video we had learned about the useRef. In this video we are going to learn about how we can pass a reference from one component to another component. So the hook due to which we can pass a reference from parent component to a child component is called forwardRef. Now let's see how we can pass a reference from parent to child component. Here you can see a syntax for the forwardRef. Here you can see we have an input component and this component is wrapped in the forward function which is taking two arguments. One is the normal props and another is the reference props. Here you can see this input has taken the reference as a prop and the another props are taken as like. So here you can see this is the basic example of forwardRef. Now let me create this example here in this folder. Here you can see this is a folder related to forwardRef. Here I am going to create two files. One is called parent.jsx. Here I am going to create a basic function and I am going to create another component which is called child.jsx. Here I am going to create a child component. So let me create a child and this should to be forward ref, and this forward ref taking a callback, and this callback takes two arguments. One is the props and another is the reference props. Now I'm going to return an input from this. Okay, now I'm going to the parent component and I'm passing this child component here as a child component. I will have to export it. Now I'm going to create here a reference. Let me create here an input ref, and this should to be equal useRef of null. Now here I'm going to create a button, and on this button click I want to focus the input of the child component. So how we can do this? Let me show you. Here on click of this button I want to focus the children input. Now let me show you with the code. Here I'm going to create on click, and when I click on this button I want to focus the input. So input ref dot current dot focus. Now let me pass this input ref as a props to this child component. So ref input ref. Okay, now let me receive this here. So here I want to receive this ref as ref. Okay, now let me show you here. My server is already running. Okay, now here I'm going. Here you can see an input and a focus button. Let me style it a little bit for good vision. Let me give it some amount of border. Here you can see now now I'm going to style the button also. BG blue 500, we have to round it, MD and margin of 4. Text should to be white. Okay, when I click on this button you can see it has highlighted and it is focused. Okay, now let me create another button on which when I click I want to disable this focus. Okay, now here I'm going to the parent component, and in this I'm going to create another button, and on this I want a blur. Okay, let me write the function again, and click of this I want, when I click on this input ref dot current dot blur. Okay, now here you can see two buttons. When I click on this you can see it is focused, and when I click on this you can see it is blurred. So this is how we are controlling the children input with the help of ref props. Okay, so how I done it, let me show you again. First I create a parent component. Okay, in this parent component I pass this child component, and here I created two buttons. Okay, and on these button clicks, on one I want to focus it and on the other I want to blur it. Okay, and here I have created a reference input ref, and I have passed it as a props to the child component. Okay, and here in this child component, child component, you can see I have created a child component, and here I have wrapped this in forward ref. Okay, which is taking a callback, and in this callback takes two arguments. One is the normal props and another is the reference props. Okay, so here you can see I have received these props here, and I'm controlling this input with the help of parent buttons. Okay, so this is how we are using the forward ref in React. So I think you may never use it in your project, but it is a hook from React. So if React has given us, so we should to learn it. So there is another hook also which is called useImperativeHandle. So see, now everything to the parent from child is exposed. Okay, if we want to limit this exposure, then what we can do, we can use another hook for this purpose which is called useImperativeHandle. Okay, now let me show you what the other hook is saying. So this was forward ref. Here you can see this example of this, same example of mine. Here you can see a parent and input ref use ref. Okay, and there is a focus input and input dot current focus, and here you can you can see and click they have called this function focus input, and you can see this is input of which I had created a child, and here you can see ref has passed as a input ref. Okay, and they have also passed the other placeholder which I had not passed, and there is another hook which is called useImperativeHandle. Okay, so let me show you what it is saying. So what is a useImperativeHandle? useImperativeHandle customize the instance value exposed when using forward ref. Okay, it is strict access to only specific methods or properties. So here you can see this is again the forward ref. Okay, it has taken a callback, and this callback has taken two arguments props and ref, and here you can see the input ref has created in the child component custom input. Okay, and here you can see the useImperativeHandle has called it is taking two arguments. One is the ref which is passed from the parent, and another is the callback function. Okay, here you can see, and here you can define the methods which should to be exposed. Okay, so first they have exposed the focus method, and another they have exposed the clear. Here you can see the input ref has passed here as a reference, and they have exported the custom input, and here you can see it has imported the custom input to the parent component, and here you can see they have passed the input ref as a reference and placeholder as a props. Okay, so here you can see on this button click they have called the focus function, and on this button clear button they have called the clear function. Okay, so let me show you with code how we can do this. Now I will have to clear this everything. I think we should create two files another. Okay, I should to create another folder for this which is useImperative. useImperative. Now let me create here two files. One is called parent.j6, create a refs, and another is the child. Okay, .j6. So here I will have to create a child forward ref taking a callback props and a reference, and it return an input. Okay, and now this time I'm going to the parent component. Okay, I will have to export it also, so let me export these. Now let me go to the parent, and here I'm going to import that child component. Yes, this one. And now let me create here an input reference const input reference. Input ref is equal to use ref from React, and here I'm going to pass the null. Okay, now here I'm going to create a button for focus and another button for blur. Okay, I will create some other buttons, but let me pass this ref. Okay, in this way. And now let me go to the child component, and here I'm going to receive this. So this time I don't want to handle it through forwardRef. This time I want to handle it with the help of useImperative hook. So how I can, you have already seen the syntax of useImperative hook. For example, useImperative and taking two argument, one is the reference from parent, and another is the callback function. Okay, so this callback taking an object, and in this object we are going to tell what to do. So first method is a focus. Okay, what the heck. So here I'm going to, you will have to create here a reference for this. Okay, so const input ref. Okay, use ref null, and here you will have to pass this ref and this should to be equal input ref. Okay, now on this focus, when I click on the focus button, the input ref dot current should to be focus. Okay, input ref dot current dot focus. Okay, now let me go to the parent component here, to the parent component, and here on this button, when I click this, it should to call the input ref dot current data focus. Okay, now let me see whether it's working or not. So first I will have to import it in the app. So where is the app file? Let me disable this one, and this time I want to parent, but this parent should to come from where? Okay, let me comment this one from this. Okay, now let's see what's happening. I am not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything. Useref is not defined. Okay, now let me import the useref where it is undefined. I think it is undefined here. Okay, and let me check in the child component also whether there is visible or not. I think it should to be import here. Okay, now let's see. Okay, let me style the, you can see it is focusing, but I will have to style little bit the input and also the button. So let me style it little bit. Not class name. Okay, and let me give it some amount of border too, and also p padding. Okay, pf2. Okay, and I think it's well now. I'm also going to style the button little bit for good looking. Okay, class name, and let's suggest me. Okay, good. We can see the button and focus also. So when I click on this focus, you can see it is focused, and now I'm going to apply function of blur on this. Okay, now let me see. Now let me apply this. Let's do this, and I will do it manually. Thank you. So on click of this I want a function that input ref dot current should to turn into blur. Okay, now let me go to the parent, no child, and here I'm also going to expose this method. So this is objects, you will have to write in this way, and this time I want to blur, so you will have to write in this way that input ref dot current, okay, dot current dot blur. Okay, now let's see what's happening. If I go here and I click the focus one, you can see it is focused, and I click this, you can see it is now blurred. So I can also create a custom methods here like disable one and enable one. Okay, so how I can do this? Let me create here another method just like enable, sorry, first disable. Let's see, disable, and how I can do this? So you will have to write a input ref dot current dot disabled true. Okay, now let this is equal true. Now let me go to the parent and here I'm going to create a button. Okay, it's become button, and in this button I'm going to create the disable function. Let me style it little bit, suggest me styling. Hurry up, what's happening to you? I think I will have to copy this style and I will have to paste it here, but this time I want the green 500 instead of 5 red, and here I'm going to create on click I want to call the function of what. So on click of this I want the input ref dot current disable. Okay, disable. Now let's see, when I click on this you can see it is disable. Now I'm unable to write anything in this input. Okay, it can't be focus, it can't be blur, it is disabled. Okay, now let me create a function for enabling. Okay, let's come to the child component, and here I'm going to create a enable function. Okay, now let enable it. So how we can enable it? We will have only to toggle this disable into false. Okay, now let input ref dot current dot disabled equal to false. Okay, now let create this button also. So create here a button for this. Now let btn, and this time it should to enable the input. Now on click of this I want to enable the input, so here you will have to call the function of input ref dot current dot enable. Okay, I think I got mistake. Okay, now let me style it a little bit for good vision. Let me suggest the styling. Okay, good. Now let's see, it is disabled still, but if I click this you can see it is enabled, and now I can write anything in this input. So this was all about the use forward ref and the other hook, which is useImperativeHandle. So if you like the video, please like, and make sure to subscribe the channel, and please share this video with your friends, and keep me in your prayers, and must do a comment. Bye bye.